What's up? This is Jamie.
And this is Dan. We're from the band Polaris.
And you're listening to the Bleeding Metal Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Bleeding Metal Podcast. My name is Martha, my pronouns are she, her, and I am here with my lovely co-host,
Kiki. Hello everyone, my pronouns are also she, her, and welcome to another episode.
Today we will talk about the latest concerts and festivals we went to and bands we have on our radar currently. Kiki, what were your last shows?
I've been to a few shows this month. We are recording on October 24th. You will be listening to this in a few weeks. We were just talking about the summer came and went so quickly that we didn't get to speak about all of the memories that we made this festival summer, right?
Yeah, summer is almost gone, but I'm sitting here in the sun currently, so there's a little bit of summer left here.
It's very sunny here today too, but I'm recovering of my first flu.
Oh, no.
Of this cold season.
Yeah, I'm getting my flu shot today, so I have to hold on another 2 weeks.
I should do that too. Yes. The summer was really cool though, and for the first time I attended Reload Festival. So I do want to shout them out because all of the festival organization, especially the press team, were super, super nice. And I felt really taken care of. I felt really welcome. Before going to the festival, I had 2 phone calls from people from the press team to make sure that everything was in order, that I had gotten the credentials and everything. And really nice to feel like they are paying attention. The festival itself was really cool as well. It was small-ish. There were 18,000 people. This year was a record year for them. The lineup was really good. I saw Korn. I hadn't seen them in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was incredible. Korn and Spirit Box were my highlights.
Yeah, I still have to see Spirit Box live, yeah.
Oh, really? You haven't seen them
No,
yet?
I haven't. I watched probably all the live video footage there is on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know you were also a fellow Spirit Box fan.
Oh, yeah. Courtney is my idol.
Absolutely. She's incredible. Another highlight of the festival was seeing As Everything Unfolds before the passing of their drummer. They put on a really great show. It's just going to stay. That show is going to stay in my memory forever.
Yeah, I imagine that.
And right at the end, they announced some of the bands for next year, and the bands that have been announced until now is a pretty amazing lineup for next year as well. Machine Head is going to play. I Prevail is going to play at Reload next year.
Okay.
And just because of them, I'm already looking forward to it. And then the next festival that we both attended was Euroblast, Martha.
Yes, also, I was super happy to see you. We don't see each other that often. And yeah, Euroblast Festival. So to me, it's like a family gathering. So everybody's seeing each other every year. It's a relatively small festival at Essigfabrik in Cologne. The artists, all the musicians, they just walk across the festival area and they eat the very delicious vegan cake with all the band artwork. It's just really nice seeing everybody every year and catching up what they've been up to. Also, every year there's really great music. Every time when the lineup is out, I start listening to the bands like starting at the bottom because of course, all the headliners, but then you're curious about the other bands. And the first band I discovered is Ophelia Sullivan. She's from Berlin. And so she has really also slow, dark, proggy synth sounds with amazing vocals. But yeah, so then there's like a real gent heavy part followed after that with screams. It's a real emotional things. I was very emotional when I listened to the recordings, but then seeing them live for the first time, she had to book a whole band to accompany her for this show. And they were so good. I love seeing a band live, and oh my God, they rehearsed their asses off. They come really well prepared. They're all great musicians. There's a whole concept behind it. Ophelia, she wasn't standing in the center, but she was standing on the side. So they were like arranged like an M.
Okay.
I talked to her after the show and I told her, I realized like you were not standing in the center. And she was like, yes, I'm an introverted person.
Wow.
I just wanted also to represent this introvertedness on stage, and it worked really well. Really enjoyed that. And what I like most about watching live music is when people are standing in the same room and you don't see the others, you don't hear the others, but you have this feeling like we're all feeling the same thing right now. And then you're connected to everybody and you become like something bigger than yourself with everybody else and the band. Yeah. I rarely have these feelings anymore, especially with bands I've not known or not seen before. And I really enjoyed that. And I hope she goes on tour and I don't know, shows her art to a lot more people.
Nice. Good suggestion as well. I'll check the band out.
The other surprise, a really cool band on the same day was Something or Other from the UK. I've met their bassist, Paddy, because he studied with another band my band Neurotitle went on tour with last year. And so everybody starts to know each other at some point. They are, I think I can say, a queer band. So they have trans people in the band. They had this raw energy, I don't know, somewhere between punk, hardcore, emo, rock, indie, and prog, of course. They had amazing energy. And I was like, I am getting old. I don't go in the center of the mosh pit anymore because I'm afraid I'm going to get injured or my glasses are breaking, or I watch like from the calmer areas of the audience. But yeah, so I found myself on the corner of the mosh pit and then at some point in the mosh pit, and I enjoyed it so much. And I didn't listen to their songs to the level that I knew them by heart, but it was so captivating and so emotional and so raw. I felt their pain. So they had this new song out. It's called Scapegoat. It's about scapegoating trans people for all things going wrong in this world and not just letting them live their life. They were like screaming out all their rage about this topic, and the audience was raging with them. Like, we're allies for you and we support you in this and you're not alone. And I don't know, it was a different kind of emotion than I had with Ophelia Sullivan, but they really had something to say, which is like new to this whole music business genre and everything. This is the kind of things I want to hear now, the topics I'm interested in and the bands I want to listen to now. I hope they get somewhere with their music because it was really inspiring.
Oh my God, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
On that note, check out a very recent episode. We had an amazing talk with Simon from Defocus about making political statements on stage. I enjoyed it so much. I learned so much even. And it was also inspired because of their performance at Euroblast as well. I admire what they talk about on stage very much, and the way Simon does it is very natural.
Yeah, that's a good word.
What were your other highlights from the rest of the festival?
Yeah, of course, I love Caligula's Horse, so seeing them as the last band of the festival. From the day their singer Jim warmed up and did the sound check with Disney songs. I don't know. I'm convinced of this band. Yeah, so I enjoyed that very much. Also, I haven't seen Novelists in quite some time. And then I discovered that they had a female singer. She was so good. She could play guitar. She could scream. She could sing. She animated the crowd. She did a crazy high jump. She was so energetic and singing that much while moving as she did. I definitely couldn't do that. And then I tried to think of male singers who can do everything she did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't think of that many. So, I really loved seeing that. But I also, again, had this notion to be a woman. You can't be mediocre. You have to be like this crazy good
Excellent.
in some situations. But she is. Yeah.
That's a very good observation.
Yeah.
But I was also super impressed by her and her stage presence and her dance moves. For my own musicianship, I get inspired a lot at concerts. And I was looking at her and thinking exactly that. Could I pull off those moves on stage? I don't know about that. She was really impressive. I was also mind blown. It's a really good observation about male singers who do the same. Male singers that continually do clean singing, belting, and harsh vocals. And I think Mark from Kardashev could.
Yeah.
He doesn't do a lot of operatic, but he probably can. He is also an incredible vocal coach. And I was also very impressed by their performance at Euroblast.
Yeah.
With his vocals are just incredible, but he was very static. He also had an incredible stage presence.
Yeah, but
he didn't really move a lot.
Yeah.
But that was also really interesting because he had like very minimalistic hand gestures.
But they were so intense. Like they were so small, but they were so intense.
Yeah, it was so captivating. Like he had my full attention. But he remained on the same spot of the stage most of the performance.
Yeah.
So that is also an achievement, and it was really interesting. It was really good.
Yeah, that's true.
Euroblast was also really small. I really like the size and the kind of familiarity of the festival, and it was pretty cool. The Singer of Novelists actually came out to the merch stand afterwards and talked to people. So even though it's a festival, you can still have those type of moments. That was really nice.
Yeah, that's true. Also, I loved Endgegner. They played on second stage and they did like renditions, medleys, and covers of video game music, but in jazz.
Oh, damn.
I've never had any jazz education. And so I think I don't get a lot of the genius that is behind it. I can sit there and be like, okay, it's cool. I like it. And I can imagine how hard it is to play, but I don't get everything. So I think the one thing I recognized was like Mario Kart music. It was just super funny, but the people enjoyed it a lot. And so every time when they said what the song was about, they was, wow, yeah, wow. I didn't know that, but yeah, it sounds great. So it was super funny. And I will have to ask them to play a show with Horizons in Cologne or something. It's going to be like the Kingdom of Nerds. So.
That sounds so cool. Talking about Cologne, the 2 other concerts that I've been to this month have also been in Cologne, and both at Palladium, actually.
Oh, okay.
I don't really like the venue.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm thinking it's the biggest venue, before arenas, the biggest venue that metal bands are playing nowadays. For 1,000 people, it's pretty cool, but these terrible columns inside.
Yeah.
And I'm small, so I have difficulty
me too.
seeing anything in general. I don't need the stupid columns in front of me.
Yeah.
But I did see Within Temptation with Anis Okay on October 6th.
Oh, yeah. That sounds really nice.
Yes. Anis Okay was really good. They played the few songs that I know by them. Shout out to Pia. Anis Okay is one of her favorite bands. But then the main act, of course, was just so impressive as always. Within Temptation. I hadn't seen Within Temptation in a while. I saw them live for the very first time back in 2007. Then I saw them, I think, once at a festival. And I actually lost track of them because the genre in which they were moving was not my cup of tea anymore. But when I saw them this time, I was super impressed because they had a really good set list. They were not only playing the newer songs, they also played a lot of the classics. Yeah. And they had a really big production as well. They had also guests. They played Shed My Skin with Anis Okay. They also had Alex Yarmak for A Fool's Parade. I was so sad because this was one of the few dates on this tour where they did not have Darya with them.
Aww.
Yeah. So the other cities around Europe had Tarja live with them to play Paradise.
Yeah.
And Cologne didn't. It was so sad.
So disappointing.
Yeah, very much. And I was also impressed because in the very beginning, Sharon I'm guessing she wasn't warmed up properly.
Okay.
And so especially when she was speaking in between songs, like after the second or third song, I was like, oof, is it a thing? I don't know. Something is different. Something has changed. Her voice is maybe not the same. And is she going to be able to sing the super high notes of the older songs? And then, of course, she did.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. She is an amazing vocalist. And the concert was a lot of fun.
I can relate to that. Sometimes after my classical singing classes, so when I've been singing for 60 minutes, my speaking voice is terrible. It sounds like I had to run a marathon and had to walk after that. So that's what it sounds like. But I could still sing and it would still sound good. So yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah. And it was also a very interactive show even. There were QR codes projected to the stage backdrop and also outside. So that you could go online and, of course, give them your email for their newsletter. But also we got the picture they took with the audience after the concert. And you can also buy the live recording of the specific show you went to. So that is also a really cool thing. We were just talking about income and revenue streams for artists and how we can support our favorite artists in a recent episode. And I think that is something really interesting that maybe more bands could explore.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds like a really good idea.
Another QR code that was also scannable during a Fool's Parade when Alex Yarmak came onto the stage was a fundraiser to support Ukraine. And they also had a t-shirt on sale on the merch stand that all the revenue they got from that t-shirt also went to support the help for Ukraine. Sharon said a few words about it too. All in all, it was a really great show. I was super glad that I went there. It wouldn't have occurred to me really until a friend pointed out that they're touring again. And I was like, yeah, we could see them. We could talk about them. We could maybe try to talk to them. Sadly, Within Temptation does not do press on the road, but maybe we can have them on the show at some point in the future. The show, however, was really good. And if you ever get the chance to see Within Temptation live, absolutely go for it. Have you seen them live?
I haven't. I meant to go to that tour with Evanescence. It got postponed during COVID, but then I missed the date when it finally happened. That would have been Martha's childhood dream. These both bands live.
Have you seen Evanescence live before?
I think at some Rock am Ring.
Okay.
When I was younger.
Yeah. And talking about bands that are getting bigger and bigger now and also played a sold out Palladium in Cologne on October 11th. I was in that venue twice that week. I saw Beartooth with Polaris and Landmarks. And it was a two-nighter because they sold out so quickly that they added a second Cologne show. I was there for the first night on October 11th. It was the second date of their tour that had started the day before in Berlin. First of all, I had an interview with Polaris that you will listen to, and you can also watch it on our YouTube channel. So go subscribe to our YouTube channel to see how I may or may not have caught the cough from Jamie from Polaris.
So you have a famous cough.
I have a famous Australian cough, maybe. We did the interview outside, but Jamie was coughing all the time. And maybe that's the virus that I got as well. The interview was really good. They were very chatty. They were super friendly.
Everyone, this is Kiki, and today I'm here in Cologne with Polaris.
Hi, how are you doing?
Well, thank you so much for being here, for your time, and for sharing a moment with me, with us, with the Bleeding Metal podcast. So you want to introduce yourself a little bit? We introduce ourselves with pronouns as well in the podcast. So I'm Kiki, she, her, and you can go ahead.
I'm Jamie, he, him. Hi.
I'm Daniel, I'm also he, him.
And yeah, we're from Polaris. vocals.
Drums.
This one smacks the toms.
I do.
Smacks the tubs.
And the snare.
And the snare. Sometimes the snare.
Some
sometimes
cymbals
the snare.
here and there. Yeah. This guy hits a B, sometimes an A.
Maybe a C sharp.
On a good day.
on a good day, a C sharp.
On this day.
And you're already having so much fun today on a Friday. This is the first of two.
Is it Friday?
Yes, it's Friday today. It's the first of two sold-out nights here in Cologne, and just the second date of this amazing tour you have going with Landmarks and BEARTOOTH. When did you arrive in Germany or in Europe?
3 days ago.
Yes.
Yeah, three days ago. We got here a bit jet lagged. We just came off a headline run over in America, and we got home for 4 days, and then flew over here, had a day off, rehearsal day, and then show one, which was yesterday.
You posted some footage from your rehearsal room in Würzburg. Is that something you do every time? Every tour?
As of recently, yeah. I think it was about a year and a bit ago we did that for the first time, and it's just become like a little bit of a hub for us because we usually fly into Frankfurt, we store a bunch of gear at a facility in Würzburg. We know that area really well now.
Yeah.
There's a pub we always go to, a beer house we go to.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's just become a really good way to start a tour. We have all our stuff there. It's very familiar. We know exactly what it's going to feel like. There's a laundry and a shower in the facility where we rehearse and stuff. So it's very comforting to start off a tour there.
Yeah, it's a pretty good way to get things going. Familiar surroundings. There's shops where we know if we need to buy anything in preparation for the tour, we know exactly where to get it from.
We know where the best kebab is. That's important.
Yes, the best doi.
Yeah,
the best doi.
Yeah, it's important.
There's good doi around here. We got to hit the.
This is doi town.
Yeah, we got to hit the original doi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just about to ask, what are your favorite things in Europe or in Germany specifically?
Beer. No, German beer is bloody fantastic.
Pork knuckle.
Yes.
Yeah, when we're in Würzburg, there's down by the water. There's this beer house we go to, and every time we've gone there, I've had the pork knuckle and the potato dumplings and the gravy. It's insane. I don't know if I've ever finished it, but
The thing is as big as your head, like freaking massive.
yeah. Aside from that, I'd just say the quality of the shows over here. Oh, and the catering at the shows.
Yes.
That's the best part. Is that the German hospitality is second to none. We played 2 shows on both days we've walked in, and there's been like bacon and eggs ready in the mornings, and that is just delightful. It's hard to have a bad time on a tour like that. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. What about the German crowds, though? We
Fantastic.
have a bit of a... Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, over the years,
you guys have
you gotta back yourself.
I know, but I think we have a bit of a reputation for not being super hyped right from the beginning.
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, ever since we've come over to this side of the world, Germany has been one of our favorite places to play next to home, really. And I'd say London in particular as well has very much felt like similar to home, but Germany in particular, the shows, the crowds are always wild, they're always loud, they're energetic. Anywhere in Germany, you know it's going to be a good show, or at least like for us over the years. We played a show here last year with While She Sleeps, and it was an absolute wild show, so I'm already high expectations just from that. But it's Germany. Cologne, we've played Cologne many times, and it's always been a fantastic show.
I don't think we've ever had a disappointing show in Cologne. Yeah. And the last time we were here was incredible. We've got another one tomorrow night. They're both sold out. I think it's going to be insane. And if yesterday is anything to go off,
night one, hey?
That was an insane crowd last night. That was I couldn't believe how pumped they were right from the start. Watching Landmarks, even watching Landmarks go on before us, I was intimidated. I was like, there's no way they're going to sing this loud for us. These sing-alongs are crazy. But
makes us feel like we're going to pull our socks up and we're going to put in some fucking work tonight.
Yeah, those guys absolutely rip. So it's really cool to watch a band before you and be like, all right, we have to get up there and put on a show because these guys are so fucking good. But they were incredible for all 3 bands. The quality of the crowd was so good. You could have believed you were watching a crowd for any one of these bands headlining. You know what I mean? The energy was just that good. From the
get-go, the crowd has been, at least last night it was,
The combination of us, Landmarks and BEARTOOTH together just works really well. There's like enough parallel in the sound.
Yeah.
There's certain commonalities, but there's also a variety there. Each band has their distinct sound. But the good thing is we're all really high energy bands with big sing-alongs and big mosh parts and riffs. If that's what you're into, that's a full night of that shit, man. Yeah.
What do you then bring to the table in terms of this lineup?
Jamie brings good looks.
Yes.
Stop. Stop it. I guess you could say we're probably a little bit of the outlier between BEARTOOTH and Landmarks, like a bit more traditional kind of metalcore.
Yeah.
Metalcore is such a wide genre. Mm-hmm. Everyone has riffs on this tour. Everyone has breakdowns on this tour. It's hard to determine.
I guess in some ways, I'd say of the 3 bands, we're probably doing the most like show-offy riffs and stuff like that, like real flying fingers kind of stuff. We make it really difficult for ourselves. But if this is a whole tour of really killer musicians who all have their own style as well. Yeah.
It is an absolutely fire lineup, and I'm super hyped to see you all 3 bands tonight. And talking about your sound, how do you keep true to yourselves and to your own style while also innovating in this ever-changing metalcore scene?
We've only ever written for ourselves, really.
Yeah.
Like, especially as time has gone on and we've got more albums under our belt. We keep in mind what moments in the set, like the fans lose their minds to or this or that, but like when it comes to writing, we still pretty very much write for ourselves. Music that we like, that we think sounds sick, because if we don't think it sounds sick, who else is going to think it sounds sick?
I think retaining our sound comes from doing what we love.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing, and that continues to evolve, but at the end of the day, we know better than anyone what our band's identity is. And if all 5 of us think it's sick, then that's Polaris. That's the way. And the cool thing is, I think our fans they're excited to grow with us as well, as we, every time we expand the sides of our sound a little bit and push the envelope on one side, whether it's, writing a softer ballad or writing something that's borderlining on like really heavy and like death metal influence and stuff in some tracks. As we do that, some people might react a little negatively at first, but then as soon as we get up there at a show, we realize that the variety in the set is what kind of carries it. Someone on the internet saying they don't like the fact that you went too far in this direction or that direction, that doesn't fucking matter when you're on a stage in front of a bunch of people singing. Suddenly you realize that's all that really counts. And I think that fans is really good for fans to keep in mind. Like I've learned over the years as well, when one of my favorite bands writes something that makes me go, oh, I'm not sure about that, I always try to reserve judgment until I see it live. And sometimes the song that I just thought was not really landing for me, I'll stand in the room and just go, oh, I get it now. I think heavy music is something that has to be experienced live to make sense in a lot of ways. That's where it really reaches its potential, and we write for that.
Absolutely. Does the concept of the lyrics as well inspire the music, or the other way around? How does the songwriting work for you?
Most of the time it's been almost like music before fully worked out lyrics.
Yeah, in the early days it was definitely like very much all write a complete song instrumentally for the most part and then start writing vocals over it. But I think as time's gone on, I've been able to bring in some vocal ideas first and show them to you and show them to the boys, and then have
this in mind, like what you can see musically happening behind the lyrics that you've written.
Honestly, like the only real way to answer it is that it's entirely dependent on what idea you get first. If there's a vocal idea to start with, we'll write music under it, based on what we're trying to say and what emotion we're trying to convey. If there's a riff, then we'll figure out what words and melodies go over it best. I think that's what kind of keeps it interesting as well across, especially our last couple of records. I think that was something that, even going back to the Guilt and the Grief EP was when I started figuring out how to do that. Write some vocals first and get the boys to construct a riff under it. But there's always a few songs written like that and a few songs that are written from the instrumental point of view first. I started using the term recently top-down writing or bottom-up writing, like writing from the vocals first and figuring it out down, or writing the foundation, like bottom-up, writing the foundation of instrumental stuff and then working on the vocal stuff last. But I think either one can lead to a great song, and I think people would probably be surprised by which songs were written in that format. It's not, you can't always tell.
Right. And talking about the emotions, now that you mentioned them, how much is personal experience, current personal experience, and how much is just universal concepts that you're writing about, a little more distanced?
With Daniel being our main lyricist, he'll come to us with the angle of where the song is coming from, and a lot of the time I can relate to that, or if I can't, I can relate it to something similar that I've experienced, where I can bring that emotion so that I can portray that myself. A lot of it is shared between you, me, and Jake, and the rest of the guys.
We've been through so much stuff together. Anything that I'm experiencing and writing about is usually something that we've at least gone through to some extent together or watched each other go through, and then that becomes a collective experience anyway. Outside of that, though, there are some songs where I'm more maybe imagining a narrative or a scenario that makes me feel a certain way and drawing from that. It's a bit of a mix, but it's always personal in some way to some extent. But you can do a lot by putting yourself in other people's shoes too, and by using your personal experiences to extrapolate on an imagined experience. I mean, at the end of the day, we're always telling stories, and some of them might be based on more specific reality, and some of them we're really allowing ourselves to expand and just feel something and hope that other people relate to it. I think a lot of the time people don't necessarily always know exactly where the origin of the song is coming from, but I love that people can take it in a certain way. Like those conversations that you and I have had with fans outside shows and what a song means to them are like so rewarding. You know what I mean? Yeah.
How important is that to make this personal emotional connection, and also maybe in the day-to-day band life, how open are you with each other about emotions and whatever you're going through?
The first point with our fans, I think it's very special that our fans feel that they have this safe space to approach us in such an open and raw way. I won't go into detail, but sometimes fans, you've never met them, they come straight up to you, opening up with the most raw shit that they've gone through in their lives. And whoa, but I love that they feel comfortable to approach us in that way, that we've provided this comfort, and they feel that they can come up to us and talk to us about their lives and what our music has helped them through and that. But also in our shared experiences, we're pretty open with all of our personal lives. We're very supportive of each other. Dan was saying before, we pretty much do live through each other's,
It's rare that any of us is going through something without the others being very aware of it. And
or there to help or to guide or something in some way.
We're such a big part of each other's support network. And you have to be when you spend as much time together as we do. There have been multiple years where we've spent significantly more time with each other than with like our own partners or wives and stuff like that, or in our own families. It can really get like that, and it's like you have to be able to lean on the people around you. You have to be able to open up. You have to be able to trust them. I think without that trust, our band never could have been here.
Yeah,
certainly.
I think we had that trust pretty early on as well. Since day one, I think we've all been pretty open with each other, and that's only just gotten more and more as time went on in the early days and brought us to where we are now. We're just a big old family. Yeah.
And what you were saying before about people being so open and vulnerable, it can be confronting, but it's really beautiful as well. And sometimes in those moments I find myself going, wow, this person I've never met is revealing so much of themselves to me. And then I go, I'm forgetting that I've revealed
so doing that.
Yeah, you sometimes forget just how much of yourself you've put out there, and then you think back on your lyrics and being like, wow, people really have had a really strange insight into our lives and our thought processes and stuff. It's you can almost forget about it sometimes. Be like, oh, I've been being an open book for a long time, and it's nice to feel safe to do that. I think heavy music particularly has always made us feel safe to express those sides of ourselves. Something very uniquely special about, I think, this kind of world of music that we're in.
Yeah.
And that is something I think is really important. For us in the podcast, it's been always really important to talk about mental health and feminism. And part of feminism is also to make the world a safe enough space for men and male-presenting people to be able to share personal and express pain and all of that stuff. I think it's also important for bands and artists like you who have a bit of a platform to use that role model function and spread those kinds of messages.
What you just said there is so important as well. I think there's so many men out there who don't realize how important feminism actually is for them. And I'm sure some people will hate that I just said that. I'm sure someone's going to get angry at us on the internet.
Can't please everyone.
No, I think like when it comes to like our values and stuff, I think we all come from a place of really embracing a lot of feminist ideals. We've all grown up with all these amazing women in our lives, and we work with amazing women in the industry. We've had all these experiences that I think we couldn't be as vulnerable as we are with people if we were so caught up in some of these masculine ideals surrounding emotions and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I said, some people will hate this, but men need feminism too.
Yes, absolutely. Feminism is for everyone.
Yeah.
Are there any other causes that you are passionate about?
We don't tend to get too
Political?
publicly too political. Yeah. Right now, I definitely have a lot of empathy for everyone involved in the situation in the Middle East. But personally, where I stand, I'm definitely in support of a free Palestine. I'm happy to personally say that. I can't speak on anyone else's behalf, and I say that with love for anyone on either side of that conflict, and like with love and empathy for anyone on either side of that conflict. I really do mean that.
Yeah, beautiful. Now you are on this tour, spreading also the word about Fatalism, your latest album. Is there a specific song you like the most personal, the one that means more to you?
In the set list or just from the album in general?
Yes.
I'm not sure. I feel Overflow is a pretty special song in the set that we play. Kind of dedicated to our late guitarist Ryan, and I guess that one's holds a bit more weight than a lot of others on the album, just from how we built our sets and, chosen to have that as like a talking point towards him as well. But a favorite on the album that we haven't played live yet is Aftertouch. I think that's a really special song for us, and I'm very excited to one day play that live. I can't wait to honestly, but it's a very different song for us, and
that one's really special as well, because I think it was one that Ryan was like,
he was heavily involved with shaping that.
Yeah, he and I wrote that in a couple of days, but almost all the musical ideas in it, pretty much all of them were him. Yeah. And it shaped up really quickly, and it was just one of those rare bolt of inspiration moments. Yeah. And I think it's one of those ones tend to come really well when you're doing something you haven't done before. Yeah. Because you can instantly see a vision of where it can go. I think people really have always looked at him as a riff guy and a technical guy, but there's virtually no riffs in that song. Yeah. In fact, I don't think there's really a riff at all. There's a breakdown, but that song's really about the layers and the building and stuff, and I think that song kind of showcases like his melodic and like songwriting sensibilities more than anything, and ability to just write something that hits you emotionally regardless of how impressive or technical it is. That song's all about the feeling.
Yeah.
With Regards is a favourite for me. That's not in the set list on that tour, but that one I'm really proud of that song. And we're really liking playing All in Vain at the moment.
Yeah. It's almost been a surprise for ourselves, that song.
Yeah, we were like intimidated to start playing that because it's quite a tricky song, but now we're a lot more confident with playing it live, and we're opening the set on this tour with it. It's great. Yeah, we weren't sure how it would translate live, but it's turned out to be like a really dramatic and like exciting moment. And then once we started trying it out on our previous tour, then the conversation happened. Shout outs to Callum, our lighting director.
Cheers, Cal.
who really convinced us that this was going to be something special, and I think we've constructed a really cool set, and it's something we haven't really done before. So yeah, we're having a lot of fun.
Awesome, and you will have a lot of fun tonight.
Oh yes.
I sure hope so. Thank you very much for all of the amazing conversation and for your words.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
To anyone who hasn't bought a ticket yet, trust me, you want to see this tour. Beartooth are putting on a show you will never ever see again. It is fantastic.
It was one of the best rock shows I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
Last night, I think we came off stage and we were just like, I think we all just went back to school.
Yeah, we got fucking schooled hard on how to put on a show. It is phenomenal.
So inspiring, man. And they're such inspiring people as well. Like, it's great to spend time around a band who is as fantastic as they are and as talented and puts on such an amazing show. So professional as well, but the most humble and down-to-earth people who have just made us feel so welcomed, and so we love everyone on this tour, man. It's just great to be surrounded by friends and people who just rip at what they do.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Cheers.
Thank you.
That's how my evening started. And then when the concert started, it started with Landmarks, and they played Creature right off the bat, and that starts with a rapped part, and the whole crowd was a huge party already. There was crowd surfing and moshing because it is a great song. It's one of maybe my favorite Landmarks song. And it was also such a difference to see the same sold out venue with such a different crowd, even though both were metal shows. For Within Temptation, the crowd was mostly male and older.
Okay.
And for Beartooth, Polaris, and Landmarks, there were a lot more female-presenting people in the crowd, a lot younger as well. And just from seeing the party that Landmarks and Polaris made, it was the perfect setup for Beartooth later. Landmarks was really great. They had a really cool show. Polaris were amazing. I knew some of their songs already, so I could sing along. And then Beartooth even more. And for Beartooth, the whole audience was one big mosh pit. There was no escaping it then. It was just amazing, though. The fire show was incredible. There was confetti. The laser show was super impressive. At some point, there was, of course, I should have known. I should have seen it coming. There was this drum solo laser show part.
Ooh.
I should have smelled that something was happening. Because all of a sudden, Caleb, the Beartooth singer, was in the middle of the crowd at the front of house at the sound booth with his electroacoustic guitar. And we had the whole slow middle of the concert point, but we had to turn around to see that.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. Very chill, very nice. He then made the crowd part for a wall of death so that he could walk back to the stage. I was like, that's very smart, because I was thinking before that, how is he going to get back? So that was really cool. There was a lot of crowd surfing, and it was just so much fun. A little emotional even. Caleb got a little emotional because I guess they were just so touched that so many people are coming out to see them during this European tour.
Yeah.
The tour is still going until early November. And if you went there and have amazing memories as well, do leave them in the comments, because it was just such an amazing evening.
Yeah,
with really good music and really good performers. That just left me wanting more concerts, more shows, more things to see. Martha, what are the next concerts or festivals that you're going to?
The next shows are my own.
Woohoo! Hell yeah.
So
when are we playing?
For everybody who doesn't know, Kiki and I, both with our bands, are going to play at the Louder Than Carl Winter Edition in Aachen on the 30th of November. So it's outside, it's free. There will be like German hot wine and stuff. So yeah, just come on out and watch us play. And yeah, so on the 7th of December, my other band Horizons will play together with the lovely Life Spark, also in Aachen. It's going to be a big family gathering, and I'm really looking forward to that. That's what I had planned. I was going to see Sleep Token in Berlin, but I had to cut the brakes on doing a lot of traveling when I have a lot of other things to do, so I don't get so stressed. Unfortunately, I'm not going to worship Sleep Token, but yeah, I have seen them live several times and still
Lucky
enjoy
you.
the memories of that.
Nice. I haven't seen Sleep Token live just yet. I was also looking for a date where I could go see them, but it would also have been super, super stressful to go to Hamburg and see them the day before. I have another concert with my band as well. We're playing on November 22nd in Essen with Chasing Dreams that I'm looking forward to a lot. And yeah, November 30th with Neurotitle. Whoop, whoop. That's going to be so much fun.
Yes.
And the day after, I'm probably going to see Bury Tomorrow, Make Them Suffer, Thornhill, and As Everything Unfolds.
Nice.
And we might have some interviews with some of those bands coming to you afterwards as well. That's going to be a huge party. I love those bands. They are so good. We will come back to tell you about all of those. We will be back with more very interesting podcast episodes. We have an upcoming episode about Nightwish with Pia and Susanna. And there are a lot of super interesting and cool things in the making. So stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe, as I said, on our YouTube channel so that you can watch all of the new video interviews. And yeah, wherever you're listening now, subscribe to the Bleeding Metal podcast. Tell your friends, bring them over. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much, Martha.
See you. Thank you. Bye-bye.